Hey everyone, welcome back. So we are gonna start working on our final say functionality of this little project, which is obviously to be able to update our project task. And since we're almost done, I do want to start giving you some guidance onto what's next, right? And I want you guys to have this off the top of your mind. I do want to bring to your attention that we have a full stack project course, which is the same stack that we've been using for this little project, this free tutorial that you guys are getting. And now this one is a highly rated course, as you can see, 4.7 stars, highest rated. Right now, this course was released like about 2 months ago. And so far, everybody's very happy. And again, we built quite an application here, because what you guys have built with me so far is just the tip of the iceberg. In this course, we obviously work on creating a RESTful API with Spring Boot 2.0. We secure a RESTful API with Spring Security and a JWT token. We use JWT tokens here for security. We create our web application with React and Redux, and in the end, I'm also going to show you how to deploy this to Heroku. Here's a demo of the tool that we're going to create. You can sign up. Obviously, if you pass a bad data, it won't let you sign up. If you do, obviously, a valid user with a valid password, it lets you create a user. And with that user login, you can come here. And instead of having one board like we're having it in our application, you can actually have several boards, because you can actually have several projects. And here, obviously, if you try and pass bad data, nothing works. Right? And then you can create that project. You can go to the project board. You can create tasks here, right? And the cool thing is that you can create tasks by priority as well, right? And actually, this one here is going to allow you to actually sort them and color code them by priority. And obviously, you can, of course, update their statuses as well, right? And if you don't assign any priority to a new project task, then it just goes to low priority. And again, as I mentioned, it sorts them by priority, which I think is really good for us, right? So and again, this is per user. A user can have several project boards depending on how many projects you have. You know, if I say project 2, right, then you can come here, no tasks on this board, and you can obviously start creating new tasks on this separate project, and you can have more than one project running. And if you try to sign up with a test user, let me see, I think I have one that's test@test.com. Leave its password here, and as you can see, we don't see each other's projects. We can also delete our projects. We can update our projects. You know, the whole shebang. And again, full security. Again, several. You can have several projects, several project boards, right? A project board without anything in it. Then a project board that has some project task in it. Again, it's a full-fledged application, and it's here on Heroku. I'm gonna make this available to you, because you guys are more than welcome to play with the app. This app is in the paid tier for Heroku. It's still a little app, right? Like, it's a little dyno with a little database. So don't hit it too hard, because if many of you are hitting it, then I'm not sure what could happen. This is not production code. This is basically a prototype, but still, it's a full-fledged project, and it's basically taking taking what we have built to the next level. So if you're interested, I would suggest, obviously, please finish up this little course so you guys have more context and more practice. But when you're done with that, please feel free to enroll. I know that there's always sales in Udemy, so you can get this at a discounted price. So take advantage of this if you really want to move forward. It's 25 hours of content. Like that's a lot of content. And as I mentioned, like, we go from creating the APIs to creating the front end to securing the API, securing the front end, and then of course, as I mentioned, we deploy this to the cloud. So good opportunity for you guys to take what we have built to the next level. I believe I'm even gonna include a coupon there for you guys to take advantage of it and get this at a massive discount, right? So anyway, I just wanted to show you this. Now we're gonna jump right back into finishing, into start working on the update feature, so we can finish up our app in the next couple lectures. Okay, cool. Alright guys, so let's get back to work. Again, I hope that you're excited about the course. That course that I just mentioned is a great next step to what we're doing here. So I really hope that you consider it. If you have questions, you can go to the course, check it out, check the free previews, and if you have questions, I think that you can send me a direct message there in Udemy, and I'll for sure get back to you. Alright? So okay. So enough of the selling. But again, I just want you guys to be like, hey, you know what? We've been working on this. What's next? Well, that's what's next. 25 hours of content for a really low price. I think that's a great deal. And you'll be supporting my efforts in keep creating projects for you guys. So, and keep this free channel flowing, right? With more cool projects. Anyway, let's start working on our update operations. First thing so the update operation has two parts to it. First is getting the task that we want to update, and then the other one is persisting the task that we want to update. Okay, so in this video, I want to focus on getting it to the state. All right. I don't think we're gonna have enough time to load it to the form. So I just want to get to the point that when we click update, we see the task that we want to update in our state. All right. And then in the videos to come, we're obviously gonna finish this off. Right. Okay. So, first things first is we need to set up the action for us to call the project task. So here right below, get delete project task. Actually, we can actually refactor this one if you think about it. No, I'm not gonna do that because there's sometimes there could be problems with those copy paste things. So you know what, we're here to code. So okay, project task, perfect. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say we're gonna pass it the PTID, the project task ID, and we're gonna pass it the history, because then what we want to do is that if the project task doesn't exist, then we just want to go back to the project board, and I'll show you what I mean by this. All right, I'll show you what I mean when we're testing this, but for now, just trust me. By the way, if you've made it this far, you should have an idea of what you need to do here. All right. So if you're feeling confident, pause the video, go do it. If you're a student from my course, because the second purpose of this mini course is that if you want to refresh your knowledge in React, Redux, and Spring Boot all working together, you don't have to watch my 25 hours worth of content. Then you can just come here and do a quick refresh, right? Or a quicker refresh, right? All right. So if you know what to do, go do it, because there's nothing more awesome than just in silence doing your own coding rather than listening to me stutter. I'm sorry about that, guys. I do have a very mild speech impediment, and that's why I stutter a little bit. especially when I get excited and then I run out of breath. Nothing out of like the ordinary, but it still happens. Okay, so here we're going to, when we get the project task, we're gonna say const res, and then we're gonna say await axios.get, and then what we're gonna say here is backticks, and then we're gonna say, we're basically gonna use the same URL here, because when we get by ID, we need to pass the ID parameter, the PTID parameter. And I did not copy this as I should have. No worries, nothing that we cannot fix right now. All right, cool. So what we want to say here is that when we get it, then we want to dispatch type get project task, which we haven't created, by the way. And then we're going to say payload res data. All right. And then we obviously need to come, I'm going to save this for now. And then we need to come here to types. And then what we're going to do is copy and paste this here. And then just get rid of the S, right? Because this is get project task, just one, just the one, just that specific one. Again, we need to get the project task so that we can then update it. If we have an error, then all we're gonna say is history.push. And then we're gonna just go back to the board. I'll explain what this is handling when we're testing. I promise this is gonna make sense if it doesn't already. Okay, so we have that there. Then the next thing that we want to do is obviously set up our reducer. We want to update our reducer so it loads this to the state, right? So we're gonna close out of here, and then we're gonna come here and actually create that case. Okay, so this is gonna actually take a few changes in our reducer. The first thing is that right here in the initial state, important, here in the initial state, we're gonna put a comma here, and we're gonna say project task. And here, this is gonna be a single object. Very important. You need to do this before moving forward. Then let's do it right here under get project tasks, and we're gonna say case get project task. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing, return state comma, and then we're gonna say project task action payload. Okay, and as you guys know by now, when we get the project task for the API, then we dispatch get project task. Important. This would have given us errors. Good catch here, right? Get project task, which by the way we need to import. Good. All right, so remember, project tasks, when we get the backlog, when we get the sim go on, we need project task. Okay, perfect. So now with this in place, then we can go and work on our project task component, update project task component. First, we're gonna bring a bunch of imports here, and to be honest, just to move a little faster, because I know that I talked a lot about my course at the very beginning, I'm just literally gonna copy and paste this here. Pause the video, make sure that you bring this in here, and then the other one is import get project task. I think that was the name that I gave it, didn't I? Yeah, get project task from actions project task. Perfect. All right, so make sure that you have the imports in place. All right, and then next thing that we need to do is come all the way down here and connect this to our store, because again, when we load our update project task form, we want to load the item that we want to update. Okay, so we're gonna surround this in parentheses, and again, I know that at this, trust me when I tell you this, at this point you have enough to get this going, to be done on your own, to do this, the entire thing on your own, to finish this off on your own. You know enough. If you go back and forth, if you really put the effort of going back and forth on your own code, you'll know enough to finish this off. I promise you. Okay, so we're gonna say connect. We're gonna say call this null for now, but this is map state to profs, which we are going to need. And then we're gonna say get project task here. Perfect. Then we're gonna say our map state to props const map state to props, and then state and then we're going to say project task comes from state dot project task, right? And I already explained how to trace this back to your reducer and to your root reducer, so you guys should be more than okay with this. And then we need errors, because remember, if we could perhaps update something and leave the summary blank, which is required, so we would need to handle errors here. All right, awesome. And then don't forget to pass this here when you're doing the connect, because this is how we are mapping from our state to the props of this component. Very, very important. Okay, so then we're gonna say sorry, then we're gonna say update project task. Oh, I did not copy that right. I just want this. Come on. I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. I'm just gonna refactor this here real quick. My throat is bothering me right now. Sorry guys. Prop types. Okay, so we're gonna do the prop types just to set up the required fields, and we obviously need the project task object. All right, then we obviously need the errors object. It's an object as well, it's required. And then obviously we need the function that we just created. Okay, cool. So with this in place, then the next thing that's going to happen is that when we load the form, we want to get this project task, right? We want to get the project task that we click on view update, right? So if we go back to here, we don't have any project task, but if we create one, what we want to do, so when we click here, it actually links up or loads up the project task that we need, right? So over here, we're gonna use again the lifecycle hook component did mount. Now I think we already talked about what this does, so you guys should be clear with this at this very moment. We're gonna pass it. Okay, so now with I was gonna start coding without explaining this. So let me backtrack here, because this could be an area of confusion. In app.js, if we go to app.js, we need to create a route. Okay, we need to create a route that loads the update project task form. So basically, what we need to do before we even finish doing what I was about to type is that we need that, so that when we click here, right, it passes on, or it calls the route that will then load the form. Okay, and it calls that route by passing the parameter, right, which is the project task database ID, right? Cool. So for this, in the project task item, and I apologize, I almost lost track of what I was doing there, but I think I stopped myself well enough before causing any serious confusion. Is that we need to go to the project task item, and we need to make sure that this calls the route that loads the form with the right project task that we need to update. This is very, very I hope that this is very, very clear. All right. So before we do that, why don't we just create the route for now? Let's go to app.js and we're going to create an additional route. And we're going to say exact path. And then we're going to say here, update project task. And then we're going to pass a parameter here, which is the project task ID. Now, to pass a parameter, remember / and then colon. This colon is extremely important here. This is not going to work if you don't put that colon there, right? And then the component that we want to load is the update project task that we're updating right now. And remember, I just imported this here. All right. If you don't have the super awesome extensions that I have, then you have to make sure that you type this and you locate the right directory for it. Okay. Okay. And then also remember that you need to close this down or else things are going to break. Cool. So now that we have this in place, remember, whenever a component is loaded by React Router DOM, then it comes with a React Router DOM passes props onto that component. And one of the prompts is obviously the parameter. We need this parameter. Why we need this parameter? We need this parameter in component did mount so that then we can actually pass that parameter to our get task action so that the get task action can fetch the project task that we're trying to update, right? So here we're going to use this structuring again, and we're going to say const pt id, right, which has to match this right here. Very important. It has to match this right here. If it doesn't, if you say pt2 id and then you say something different here, it won't work. Right? I do want to take the time to make sure that this sinks in. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you right now. For those of you that get this, I know that some of you, it's your first rodeo with React. Want to make sure that you guys understand this. If this is not here, it won't work. If it's not the same name as here, it won't work, right? Because we're using the structuring here, right? Very, 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 very important. All right, so I'm done annoying you. This .props.match.params, and I'm gonna show you where this comes from. I promise. But I think I did in a previous lecture. But anyway, we're gonna review that, and then we're gonna do this .props.get project task, which is the action, and we're gonna pass it the PTID that we are getting from the parameters. Okay, perfect. So with this in place, I think, if I'm not forgetting anything, I think that we can click here and at least go to the form. Nope, something's not working. All right, it's fine. Let me see. I must be forgetting something here. Duh. I know what I'm forgetting. So we have this. So we have this here, right? So we know what to mount, right? And this is great. This is all done. And then we have the route declared here. But the reason why it's not working is because we haven't done anything with this button to actually take us to that route. See, if I go here, update project task, and then 5, which is the ID of the one that we have there. I put my foot in my mouth. Done. Updated. See? Mistake. You want to keep it as updated, that's fine, but that's why I didn't went there. That's why I didn't go there, sorry. And as you can see here, it goes there and it loads the project task into our state. So guys, we're almost done with this piece. Now all we need to do is actually work on the button in the project task item, and then pretty much all we need to do here is turn this into a link, which is also from React Router DOM. and we're going to say link to equals, and then we're going to put curly braces here. This is very important, guys. Without the curly braces, this is not going to work, right? And then we're going to use backticks here, and then we're going to say update project task, right? And then we're going to say project task dot id, right? And then we also have to refactor this one here as well. Okay, with that in place, we can go back to the board. Oh, Jesus, this is not taking us back to the board yet. Let me fix that right now, please. Okay, so I have to actually fix a few things here. So if I go here to view update, now it's taking us and it takes us back to the board. I have to fix this up here. You guys know what to do. All you have to do is come to the nav bar and just make sure that the href here is just root here, and then that will take us always back to the board. But anyway, back. Let's get back on track. Back to the board, and here it actually loads. As you can see, it loads the project task. Right, so it's project task, project tasks. It loads that specific project task that we want to load in the form and then change. Now, I promised you that I was gonna review this thing here, where this is coming from. As I mentioned, every time a component gets rendered via a route, it will pass a set of parameters, or a set of props with it. And these are the props. It's props, history, location, and match. And what we're doing here is that we're saying this dot props dot match dot params, and then in params what we have is PTID. And see, PTID is exactly this. That's why the name needs to match what your guys are putting here. If it doesn't match, it's going to break. All right. So guys, I think we have accomplished what we wanted to accomplish for this lecture, which is to load the right project task to be updated when clicking on that button there, right here. When you click here, we're loading the one that we want to update. And just to be like super careful, I'm just gonna say second one. I'm gonna put whatever acceptance criteria. I'm gonna put it in progress. I'm gonna create it, and then as you can see, loads the second one, and everything is working so far. So now the next steps is to actually load this, load the form. All right, and then when we load the form, then all we need to do is persist the update. And once we do that, we are done with our little project. All right, guys. So I'll see you in the next one, and I think that we should try and wrap this up in the next one, unless we run into any issues. But we should wrap this up in 1 or 2 more lectures. Thank you, guys.